Henry Ford was born in 1863 on a small farm in Michigan. From an early age, he was fascinated by machines. While other children played, Ford took apart watches and tools, not to destroy them, but to understand how they worked. Formal schooling was brief, and Ford learned more by doing than by reading. At the age of 12, he repaired his first watch on his own, an experience that taught him patience, attention to detail, and persistence. His curiosity never left him. As a teenager, he left the farm to work as an apprentice in a machine shop. There, he gained practical knowledge about engines, gears, and mechanics. Ford believed machines could improve life and reduce human suffering. He saw that labor could be made easier and productivity could increase. But Ford also noticed a problem. Many people worked hard, yet lived in poverty. He wondered whether machines could change that, and whether cars could be made affordable for ordinary families, not just the wealthy. This question stayed with him throughout his life. By his early 20s, Ford worked for the Edison Illuminating Company. He impressed his supervisors with his mechanical skills and innovative ideas. He learned the importance of efficiency, organization, and reliability. Ford continued experimenting in his free time. He built his first gasoline-powered horseless carriage in 1896. It was small, noisy, and slow. But by his early 20s, Henry Ford had already gained experience in several machine shops and demonstrated an extraordinary talent for mechanical work. He joined the Edison Illuminating Company, where he impressed his supervisors with both his skill and his innovative thinking. Even while working long hours, he continued experimenting with engines and small mechanical projects in his free time. His first attempt at building a gasoline-powered horseless carriage came in 1896, a vehicle that was noisy, slow, and far from perfect. Many people laughed at his invention, and some doubted its potential, but Ford saw beyond the immediate imperfections. He believed that with persistence, refinement, and practical engineering, automobiles could become reliable, affordable, and accessible to ordinary people. Ford faced failure repeatedly. His early business ventures collapsed, and investors were skeptical. But each setback taught him valuable lessons about efficiency, production, and leadership. Ford understood that failure was not a dead end, but a necessary step toward mastery. He refined his designs, experimented tirelessly, and built a reputation for innovation. By the turn of the century, he had laid the groundwork for what would become the Ford Motor Company. These years were not glamorous. They were filled with trial, error, and relentless determination. Yet every challenge brought him closer to his vision of a world where automobiles were no longer a luxury, but a practical tool for the everyday family. In 1903, the Ford Motor Company was officially founded, marking the beginning of a new era in the automobile industry. The first cars rolled off the production line slowly, and early sales were modest. Ford realized quickly that producing cars one at a time was inefficient. He needed a method that could allow him to build more cars faster, without sacrificing quality. He studied production processes, watched how other industries worked, and experimented tirelessly. Ford's breakthrough came with the introduction of the moving assembly line. Instead of workers moving from station to station, the car itself moved along a conveyor. Each worker had one simple, repeatable task, and no time was wasted moving from car to car. This innovation transformed production. The time required to build a single car dropped dramatically, and costs fell. Cars became affordable for ordinary families, fulfilling Ford's vision of accessible transportation. The Model T became the symbol of this transformation. Before it, automobiles were luxury items for the wealthy. With the Model T, a middle-class family could now own a car, and the way people lived, worked, and traveled changed forever. Roads expanded, communities connected, and commerce grew. Ford's vision was not just about making cars, it was about reshaping society itself. But Ford's innovations extended beyond machines. He cared deeply about his workers. At a time when many employers paid very low wages, Ford doubled the standard wage for his employees. Critics claimed it would ruin the company, but Ford understood a simple principle. Well-treated workers are productive, loyal, and motivated. This decision not only improved efficiency, but also attracted skilled labor from across the country. His factories became models of modern production, where innovation and respect for workers went hand in hand. Ford faced criticism and resistance from competitors, investors, and even his own management team. He was stubborn, often insisting on his ideas despite opposition, but his persistence paid off. Production soared, the Model T became a global success, and Ford's assembly line method was copied by manufacturers worldwide. His principles of efficiency, simplicity, and respect for labor reshaped industrial practices, not just in automobiles, but across all manufacturing sectors. Even after achieving success, Ford continued to innovate. He studied how work could be made simpler, processes could be standardized, and mistakes could be minimized. He believed that the combination of clever engineering, smart organization, and respect for workers would lead to the greatest achievements. His legacy was no longer just a car. It was a revolution in how things were made, how people worked, and how industries could grow sustainably. As production increased, Ford began to understand something deeper about human behavior and work. Repetition, when designed correctly, reduced fatigue instead of increasing it. Workers no longer needed to master an entire process, only a single task done well. This reduced errors, increased speed, and allowed ordinary people to become highly productive. Ford believed this system was not about exploiting labor, but about aligning human effort with intelligent design. He also recognized that efficiency created freedom. Faster production meant lower costs, and lower costs meant access. Access meant opportunity. In Ford's mind, the assembly line was not just a machine system, but a social tool. It allowed millions of people to move, work, and live differently. This belief that technology should serve society became one of the core pillars of his philosophy.